This is Michael J. Coyle with Metal Temple. I'm here with Tommaso Riccardi from FLESHGOD APOCALYPSE. How are you today, sir?
Hey, very good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Just been rushing about. I'm heading to London tomorrow to go watch Abbas.
Nice.
Yeah, so 4-hour coach trip ahead of me, so sleeping tablets are going to be a necessity.
Yeah.
So the first question, or the first thing on this interview is, so on February 5th, FLESHGOD APOCALYPSE will release their latest record entitled King. What was the writing process like for this record compared to the band's previous release, Labyrinth?
First of all, I would say, as usual, of course, it's been pretty long and also pretty stressful. But that's our average. Just because we are super meticulous on and very, very picky on everything, so it always takes a long time for us to work on a new album. But it was also I would say a little different because it was the first time that we were facing the chance to work with some new people, both in the studio for the actual recordings, and in this case we've been recording at Kick Studios in Rome with Marco Mastrobuono.
All right.
And for the very first time, we were also, preparing to work for the mixing and mastering abroad for the very first time with Jens Bogren at Fascination Street Studios in Sweden. So that's when you have new things coming up, it's always a little bit more challenging because you have many questions about how is it gonna be, how's the process gonna change, the whole thing, and besides that. The main focus on this album was really to work hard to reach let's say if you can say that the perfect balance between all the elements in our music. We've been experimenting a lot through the years, and at this point we had a pretty clear idea of what we wanted to get from the album, and we really had many ideas on the arrangements, on how to actually make the music sound exactly as we had in mind since the beginning. And we've been obviously improving, also learning a lot of stuff from our past experiences. So it took about 9 months for the composition and arrangement, and about 2.5 months for the recordings. And it's been great in the end. I mean, the result is great in my opinion, and we're really happy about how the album sounds, and there's a great reaction until now. So it was pretty cool. I mean, working with Jens Bogren has been obviously an amazing experience. We were obviously expecting a professional producer, but we couldn't imagine it would be so crazy, because also his interpretation of the music and the way he worked on the sound was really amazing. And I think in the end we have a very, very clear sounding album, and also very powerful.
So, did you and the band do anything different this time around with this record? Like, was there anything you did different that you didn't do with previous releases?
On a certain level, I would say that, we always have the ideas for our songs sometimes really literally randomly come from guitar riffing, or sometimes it's orchestral strokes or drum rhythms. It really depends on inspiration, and then of course we start from there and we work on the whole song and on the arrangement for the whole song. But in this case, it happened pretty often that we started from actual guitar riffings. So in one way, the composition was really much guitar-based, even if, of course, it still happened sometimes that we started from main themes, main orchestral themes. But the thing is that we were really aiming to try to treat the guitars in a slightly different way, because we've been using the guitars, especially in Agony and Labyrinth, literally like a section of the strings of the orchestra. In this case, we were interested into keeping, obviously, this balance with the orchestra and considering the orchestral arrangement while writing the guitar riffing, but also giving back to the guitar a little bit more of the guitar role, actually. So we really worked on the riffing, and then we found the proper ways to make the guitars match with the orchestra. Of course, also changing something here and there in the guitars, but still respecting the riffing in a way. So that would be maybe the main difference from the composition of Labyrinth, for example.
I get what you mean, actually, because listening to the latest record, then listening to Labyrinth, there are a few there are a few things you can tell apart. Because I do feel that the riff style on this record is a bit stronger. If I'm being honest, I enjoyed Labyrinth. I'm saying that with this newer record, there is a stronger feel in the guitars on my part, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, we really wanted to have this grandiosity of the orchestra being there in when the music opens up and in the chorus, or sometimes in the main start riffing of the songs. But in the meantime, we really worked on the dynamics to make sure that in the moment in which the guitar riffing kicks in, maybe like sometimes in the first riff of the song, some other times in other riff throughout the songs, to leave the proper space to the guitars and make the arrangement of the orchestra leave more space for the guitar itself, and then kick in, back again when it was time to open up again into the orchestral theme.
That's very interesting. During the writing for King, what were your main influences writing this record, and would you say they were musical, or was the influence something else?
Yeah, of course, musical influence is always there, and we in this particular case, for which regards, especially some of the melodies and the harmonies that are into the album, I would say that compared to other albums that we put out, this is maybe the most romantic one, in the meaning that it really takes a lot of inspiration from romantic classical music. So from the music that you could place between the end of the 18th and the first half of the 19th century. Even if there are many different moments. I mean, like, for example, on the Fool, there's a lot of Baroque style riffing. Especially the main theme is really Baroque. But that's maybe one of the most different riffs out in the album, because like in Eternum, for example, and many other songs have the orchestral progressions are more inspired to the Romantic period. And beside that, of course, the kind of atmosphere that, in my opinion, is maybe the darkest one that we ever put out. There's really a lot of dark moments in the music of this album. Was really inspired also by the concept itself, by the context and the idea that was behind the characters that we were describing through the songs.
Well, when you say romantic, I could actually see that, because looking at the artwork, for me, that actually the actual tone of the artwork kind of actually adds to the whole romanticism of the themes that you're talking about in the album, which really is very interesting, because you don't really see a lot of bands really incorporating that into music. I mean, especially with FLESHGOD being a death metal type band, it's very interesting to have that kind of element being put into the actual material.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And also in this particular case, also being, of course, a metaphoric kind of story, because we always like to put stories on different levels, but still the characters of the story are actually inspired on a court, and so the king and all the other characters are actually set into the Romantic period, fully in the Romantic period, and totally you can also see that from the artwork of the album. So I mean, that's a very strong element in this album, and also musically talking, it's totally inspired on that period. If you think that, also, like, for example, Paramore, that is particular song in the album, being a piano and vocals album, it's inspired to the Lied that was actually one of the musical styles during the Romanticism, and it consisted actually into short compositions for piano and vocals. But yeah, in general, there's a lot of progressions. Like the first riff of In Eternum, for example, is very, very dark and heavy theme, and very, very epic, and it's totally romantic on a musical style, I believe.
Very intriguing. Since you first joined the band back in 2009, how has the journey of being in this band been for you since the release of the band's first EP and, of course, the full-length Agony? I mean, since you first joined the band, how has the journey been for you since the release of the first EP, the first full-length, now releasing King?
Well, you know, it's been a crazy time. I mean, in some way, it seems like it's already a lifetime, because so many things happen in the meantime. You know, and it's like it's so many experiences in such a short time that you know, I could really talk about it forever, and that's crazy, because it's been such an intense time. And you know, the crazy thing is that if I think, you know, about how it was and how I felt also as a musician, and my approach to music in general and on stage, and you know, during the recordings and stuff, I think how I was just 5-6 years ago, it really looks crazy, and it really gives you the idea that there's no better way to learn things than, you know, experiencing them directly. Because I mean, only playing on stage every day and doing, you know, long tours and playing so many gigs a year is the only thing that can actually give you that experience that you need to run a proper show. And you know, it's been a crazy effort, and we've been, you know, working crazy on every single aspect. But now it's like, it's obviously a super busy time, but in the meantime, it's so cool to feel that we have, you know, a much better confidence into ourselves and between each other. And it's so great, because you know, you can do your job and it's still super challenging, but you also feel that you're comfortable enough to deliver the show every time you go on stage and make, you know, fans happy. So I mean, it's a great experience, and I totally see it like something that it's gonna keep growing through the years, because there's always something new to learn.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I can certainly say that before this interview, I actually saw a few people talking about the UK tour, which a lot of people are very excited for.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. I mean, I know it's gonna be a great time, because I mean, UK is being great for us since the beginning, and we've been playing a lot of shows, and the fan base has been growing crazy. So I mean, you know, it's always growing over there too, and you know, also, you know, playing in Camden and you know, all these crazy places is always a great experience. And also, you know, we've been far from touring for a while now, because we've been playing a few festivals mainly, and just very short tours like the one in Mexico during last year. But we didn't do, you know, the actual tours that we usually do. So I mean, even if we played a few festivals, we've been concentrating on the composition and recordings mainly. So at this point, we are really, you know, hungry for shows, for touring. So I already know that it's gonna be super energetic. So you know, I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I think I saw you in the UK was Bloodstock Festival last year.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Yeah, I've been going to that festival since 2009, and each year it's always had a very diverse lineup of different bands. I mean, this year they've already started pumping out bands like Goat Whore, Venom, Behemoth. So basically, it's a great festival. I think that when I saw you guys play Bloodstock, you got a fantastic reaction, because I think your sound compared from a live venue to a festival area. You know, I mean, with a festival area, your sound is bigger, in my opinion, which actually works for a lot of people who are seeing you for the first time.
Thank you very much.
Besides FLESHGOD, you've been in a few bands prior, such as Atenmo, Atemno, Human Cluster, and Strider. From your experience of being in these bands and then becoming a member of FLESHGOD, what would you say you have gained musically from your experience of being in all of these bands to now?
Yeah, that's been so important, because that's my imprinting. It's so important to. I've been playing with those bands. If you sum the whole thing, it's been like almost 10 years of playing this music before doing this as a job. So that means that that is really important, because it's first of all, is the first chance that you get to jump on the stage, of course. So that means that you learn the very first thing about playing on a stage and being a musician there, and then also you bring that with you, of course, because yeah, as I say, it's literally an imprinting, and it's literally where you learn the basis. And of course, I could never have the chance to do what I'm doing if I didn't have that kind of formation before doing this. And but of course it's also been a constant research for the right people. I mean, I still love all the guys I've been playing with, and we're in a good relationship, but in the meantime, it's so important to find let's say the perfect lineup in which everyone is on the same wave on things. So it also teaches you how difficult and how hard it is to find the right people to do something professional. So it makes me feel even more lucky for the fact that I've been going through all those experiences and then finally find the people with which I could really do it.
So when you're not touring, what do you do to relax? Do you practice, or do you write in your free time, or is there something you like to do personally which helps you to focus after a long tour?
Well, on one hand, our job is really complex and made of many different things. So I mean, beside the touring, but also beside rehearsing and playing music, there's so many technical aspects about promotion and planning and like thinking about video clips or also working on accounting. There's so many details in an active band that actually it really becomes a full-time job even beside the touring. In the meantime, I also graduated in the meantime in pharmacy, so I'm also working as a pharmacist sometimes. So I got this like second life, but that's something I do because I like to do it. And I do it whenever I can do it, because actually FLESHGOD is really a full-time job, so it's really hard sometimes to find time to do other stuff. But for which regards my hobbies, I mean the things that I like to do just for relaxing, skateboarding. I really love skateboarding. Nice. And since I'm not home so often, I really try to just hang out with my friends, having some good food and just drinking some wine, typical things, not totally normal things, but that's the basis, that's the things you need to to survive and to feel good.
So whenever you tour a country, do you ever take the time to look around the location of the show, or do you prefer to keep it to yourself or write new music?
Most of the times, of course, the timings are really strict, so it's pretty hard sometimes to find the actual time to do sightseeing, but we are absolutely not the kind of band who just get into the backstage area and just stay there and just wait. Absolutely not. I really feel extremely lucky for the chance to get to see the world. So I mean, whenever we can, we always even if we have like a couple of hours and we're waiting for load-in or whatever by the club, we always get the chance to just walk around and see the city or whatever, and whenever we have a day off or so, we always try to get to see the place, or if there's some, for example, some natural park or whatever, we always try to go there, because there's so many people that in a lifetime don't get the chance to see what we get to see in 1 year. I mean, so it's, come on, it would be foolish not to use this possibility. So we really like to hang out and just walk around and see stuff.
Well, when you play Manchester, I would definitely say to check out the pub next door. It's a local metal pub, very old-fashioned, very old-fashioned furniture and everything like that, friendly staff, and it's right across the road from the Palace Theatre. So it's a nice little spot to see a few sights.
Nice.
So before a show, what do you do to prepare, besides practice beforehand? Like, do you and the band have any pre-show rituals, or do you just pump each other up just to make sure, just get any anxiety out of the way?
Well, usually right before the show, I really notice that it becomes a very personal moment for everyone.
Of course.
So, in that moment, of course, sometimes we're very, as I said, we're very picky and sometimes anxious about, things going in the right way. So most of the times we're always like talking to our crew and like asking if, okay, is this okay? Is this working? Stuff like that. And of course, trying to warm up and stuff. Me personally, I'm a pretty anxious person, so I mean, I really, if I have the chance, I really try to, talk to someone, also, in the, someone working in the club or with my crew guys, because, sometimes it chills me out more to talk and laugh a little bit instead of being too much concentrated on the warm up, because sometimes when you do that concentrating too much on the warm up, it can happen that you get even more anxious. So I mean, it's useless. It's good to of course to warm up, but in the meantime try also to be a little bit distracted and don't think too much about it, because if you just let the flow go and you don't anticipate too much what's going to happen, it's always the best time. It's always when you get on stage and you feel that energy kicking in. So you just have to let it go. I guess it's like just surfing a wave. So I really try to be as natural as I can. And nobody in the band have some particular like superstition or stuff like that, luckily. So I mean, we just do our thing. We just prepare and put up like stage suits and makeup, and then make sure that everything is working, and just jump on stage and try to be as energetic as possible.
So at the moment, what are you playing guitar-wise?
You mean in general, or
in general, like live or other? I'm very curious, because I'm a guitarist myself, and I'm very curious as to what you play, because I've always seen you play a V with F fills.
Yeah. Until now, we've been playing for these last 2 or 3 years these instruments from a company from Rome that is called Overload Studio. So they're actually custom-made instruments. But the 3 instruments, actually, my guitar, Cristiano's guitar, and Paolo's bass, they're all from the same company. And it's these instruments are mainly mahogany on mahogany, so it's a neck through guitar. It's the same for me and Cristiano. And we've been using always EMG pickups, and we're still using EMG pickups. And for which regards now, we're actually working on new instruments, and we met this guy that incredibly lives in our same hometown, and we got the chance to try some of his instruments, and I have to say they're amazing. So we decided now to try to build up new instruments for ourselves. And I already have some sample of the bass, because I got he sent me some picture lately of the bass that is already almost done, and I've been trying some of his instruments, and it's totally crazy stuff. This guy is called Matteo Ruffini, and the brand is called Ruffini Fine Instruments. So it's a totally new experience, and I really can't wait to have my guitar done. I think I'm gonna stay on a V guitar, even if I would probably we will do some changes in the shape and in the dimension of the guitar, and probably on the woods. But we're still in the process, but it really looks good already from now.
And is there anything specific that will be on your design of your guitar? Will you still be continuing with the F-holes, or will it be a completely new design all the way through?
No, the idea will stay pretty much like that, but it's actually really improved, even for which regards the not only the shape, but like the like also the kind of colors, and the fact that they're very similar to classical instruments. That's the idea, but it's actually really improved, and from what I got from the bass, it already looks amazing. But that's the basic idea, because we really liked it, and really think that that's perfectly matching with our image. But for the way they are done, this guy really is crazy. So I mean, I know it's gonna be epic already.
That's awesome. And the final question for this interview is for the fans listening at home. What can we expect from the new record and from the upcoming shows?
Well, I really believe that this record has many amazing elements and a very good balance between all the aspects of FLESHGOD music, and a lot of surprises. So I really can't wait for everybody to get the chance to listen to the whole thing. And for which regards the live show, we, as we're a very visual band, and we really care about the show, and we'll keep reinvesting everything we can on the show, because the show is extremely important for us. So you can always expect some surprise from FLESHGOD Apocalypse.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been a real treat talking to you, man.
Hey, thank you very much. Have a good night, man.
You too, man. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
This is Michael J. Coyle with Metal Temple. Thank you for listening.